What's up, my pilots? Angry Poncho here. We're back playing Let's Battle Blaze Black. In this episode, we were here in Green City, and it's time to take on the 4th gym leader, Elesa. Show you my team here. We got a Gigalith, Rock type, kicking some ass, and we got Nakrak as usual. Plus, next coming up, we got a couple new contenders. We got a Nido Queen and a Nido King. Pretty freaking great. Two of my favorite Pokemon, really. Nido King is just awesome. And then backing them up, we got Morabella and Typhlosion. So only Nakrak and Morabella are actually permanent members here. The other 4 are stand-ins that are helping us out for this battle. I did a couple of practice fights, and she kicked my ass. I got to her 3rd Pokemon before she knocked out all 6 of mine, and I was like, well, damn. And she hadn't even, I hadn't even knocked out any of hers yet. I'd seen 3, but that was it. So I had kind of a tiny idea of what kind of strategy she was going to use. I knew she had a thing going for Volt Switch and for U-Turn with a couple of her Pokemon. She kicked out my whole team doing like Volt Switch. I was like, damn. And so I'm expecting that this time around. And there you go. She starts right off, which I think is kind of cool. So she sends out Emolga to start the fight. That's like the Pikachu of this generation. Totally adorable. And then she switches to Ampharos, which is like, oh god. But I know she's going to be doing a lot of switching in this fight. She's seemed to have tended towards that in the past, and so I start off with a Stealth Rock from Gigalith. And then Gigalith really just doesn't stand a chance against Focus Blast. If Focus Blast had missed, it only has 70% accuracy, and Ampharos doesn't have any upping accuracy things. If it had missed, that magnitude might have defeated Ampharos. Probably not. So you can see how much damage this is going to do. So I send out Nidoqueen. We're going to try and kick some ass here. And oh man, Elesa's team seriously does not screw around. This Ampharos, this is like... okay, so you remember playing through Crystal version and you get to... oh, what was her name? The gym leader that uses the normal types, the girl... oh, what was her name? I don't remember it. But she used the Miltank, and that freaking Miltank would just roll out, and just like destroy your whole team because it had so much health. Well, that's what this Ampharos is like to me. I've never had so much trouble taking out one Pokemon since that Miltank. This Ampharos is crazy. And she, as if you're watching here, we're doing a decent bit of damage. We got it down to half health already. And I'm trying to stun it. I'm trying to get it asleep and like play the status element game. And so look at this. It's asleep for 1 turn. I go ahead and straight up use Venus Shock, and then I think that it just wakes right back up, and it's like, what? It missed 1 turn. Like, I had to use a turn just to use Lovely Kiss, and I'm sitting here like, huh? So I end up, I think every single time I put Ampharos to sleep, it woke up after 1 turn, which is like, crap, that's not even worth doing the move at that point, you know? Because you're just trading it off, it's even. And I didn't know this, but in Generation 1, which is what I was expecting, sleep lasts from like 1 to 7 turns. And I think in later generations it lasted like 1 to 4 or 1 to 5. I thought it was 1 to 5 when I was fighting this fight, and there it goes. It woke up after 1 turn every single time. Now for Gen 5, sleep lasts between 1 and 3 turns, which I think is totally nerfed. I think it should last longer than that, but whatever. I like the 1 to 5. I thought that was a good amount. And this Ampharos wakes up after 1 turn every single time. And I'm thinking, like, does it have an ability? There's like, has it got like some like vital spirit kind of thing where it always wakes up? I think it's called Early Bird. Like, does it have Early Bird where it wakes up early? And I'm like, what? Okay, well I got 2 turns that time. And it's like, wow, there it goes, and it wakes right up and it goes before me, so it's like it never even happened. It's like, what is going on here? And so you can see her whole strategy, but it turns out it doesn't have any ability like that. I just had bad luck. For this part at least. And so she is buffing the hell out of this Ampharos. She used Cotton Guard twice, which means her defense is raised by 4 stages, and now she's used Charge 4 or 5 times, which means her special defense is raised, or it's actually a male, but it's Elesa's Pokemon, whatever, it's raised by like 4 or 5 stages. And so now it's like, I've got nothing here. Even my super effective moves are not doing much. And so I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to take out this Pokemon. Now thankfully, her strategy is not the best, because I think she eventually ends up using Charge so many times that it says her defense won't go any higher. But yeah, look at that, super effective, same type attack bonus, and those 4 stages of raised defense, like, just cut that damage down. It's like, I think I'm doing like a third of normal damage or something like that after 4 stages of defense increase. It's like, man. So I switch back and forth between special attacks and physical attacks because Nidoqueen and Nidoking are both pretty good mixed attackers. And so I'm like, oh man, nothing is coming through. So I decided to change my game up. I can't keep playing this forever. Elesa's got like 4 Hyper Potions she's ready to throw down. This could go on for days. And so I'm like, alright, I gotta finish it. So I send out Morabella, and I use Embargo. If you're not familiar, this is a move that prevents the enemy from using items for 5 turns. And it's only for the one Pokemon you use it on. So basically Elesa cannot use an item on Ampharos for 5 turns unless she switches out to something else and then switches back in. So basically I'm removing this Pokemon from the fight one way or the other. Either I'm going to get that damage done and I'm going to defeat it, or she's going to have to switch it out, which is what I want, because I don't want it in the front of the party anymore. And so I'm changing around from one to the next, and I know I have 3 turns left on my Embargo before it runs out, and so I use Thrash. It's a 2 to 3 turn move, and it's got pretty decent high attack. It's got full 100% accuracy in this version, and my Nidoking and Nidoqueen both have the Sheer Force ability, which means it raises the power of the move. Which is actually, I don't know if Thrash actually benefits from that. I know Body Slam does, which Nidoqueen has, because it has a chance of causing paralysis, so the Sheer Force ups its power. And then I get lucky. I get that one good shot of luck on the last turn of the Embargo, just waiting for that Hyper Potion to come in. I get through the confusion and I hit the Venoshock. It's like, yes! Ampharos is down. That's half the video for that one Pokemon. It's crazy! And the rest of the fight's no cakewalk. So you notice, Manatite comes out, my Stealth Rock does 12% damage. There's standard, 12%, 12.5 I think actually. And there it's like, oh, you win some, you lose some, I'm taking damage from the confusion. No big deal. I know what I'm going for here, and I don't want Nidoking to be standing out there confused forever, and so I decided to switch it out, get rid of that confusion status, and I'm going to change into Typhlosion, because it's not going to be, hopefully not going to be weak to anything that Manatite knows. And it just so happens that she was going to use Flamethrower on that turn, and so I got away with a not very effective damage. Great luck there. So now I'm trying to think what I want to use. I guess I'm going to go with the physical attack here, because I think that its special defense is going to be way higher than its special attack. I don't know that for sure, but that's true for most electric types. And then she uses Volt Switch. She switches out to Raichu, and it's like, alright, well, I'll take that 12% damage on you. Let's do it. And it's like instead of Volt Switch, it should have been Thunderbolt or something, but whatever. So now I'm going for Extra Sentry and other things. And then Wild Charge. That's actually the TM that she gives you after the fight. So Wild Charge is a pretty decent move. It does recoil damage though, as you saw, so Raichu is almost gone, but my Typhlosion is not fast enough to outspeed an electric type, because most electric types are pretty speedy. So even with that one level advantage, my Typhlosion has gone second. So, but she does pull back Raichu with a Volt Switch, and it's like, all right, bring out Emolga, cool. I'm gonna get 25% damage on you right there, because that Rock type that Stealth Rock does double damage if you send out a Pokemon that's weak to Rock, and so that Flying type, Flying and Electric, that's what Emolga is. That Flying type is doubling the damage up for me. It's like, all right, sweet, I'm ready for this now. And I know that Emolga's not too nasty here, and hopefully we can get through this, but she's going out with a high power move. Acrobatics, taking care of that Flying type stab, and getting, I assume Emolga has no item, just based on the amount of damage it did, so she lays out my Nidoking, which is not what I was expecting to happen, but like, wow. So we're down to just 2 now. I think she's got 4 left, so we're down right now. It's not looking too good. Nidoqueen's even paralyzed. So it's like, alright, I'm going to go for the Body Slam. And I'm just hoping that I can get through the paralysis, and bam, there it goes. With that Sheer Force upping that power by, I think, 30%, plus the fact that it already does like 90 or something, so that took out Emolga. Defense was not high enough to stand up to bat. And here comes Manatite again, taking 12% damage from the stones once more. And I don't think that Manatite has a whole lot left in its arsenal, but that Flamethrower is just enough to finish off Nidoqueen. And now it's all up to Nakrak, last Pokemon. And it's like, alright, no more games, I'm going for the super effective damage. And it just so happens that Nakrak being a Dragon type turns out to be an awesome thing to have here, because I'm going to resist a whole lot of moves she's going to try and throw at me. And I'm so glad that Attract did not come through. I hate Attract. It feels like it's supposed to be a 50% chance to get through Attract. It feels like 30. Like, I feel like it just doesn't really come out that often. And then she switches into Raichu, and it's like, oh, how do you like that Stealth Rock, Elesa? I knew when she pulled Raichu back the last time, I was like, that doesn't have enough health to even come back out. But sure enough, she sends it right back out, and it finishes off the Raichu. And then out comes Galvantula, taking 25% of its health, because it's got double weakness to Rock from being part Bug. So it's like, yes, this is working out great. So now I'm just hoping that this ground-type strike is going to be enough to finish off this Galvantula. I'm actually thinking Galvantula is the last Pokemon right now, but she's got one more. And sure enough, look how close it is! And I was like, oh no, what do I do? And it's like, oh yeah, I have items. I'll just throw down a Hyper Potion right now. It's like, I can't let it slip through my fingers at this point. You know, I can't snatch defeat from the jaws of victory when we're so close. And it's like, alright. And I'm just praying here. I got my fingers crossed, because I know that single Signal Beam has a chance to confuse. And I was just like, oh boy, I really hope I don't get confused in this next turn. And we get lucky. No confusion comes through. It's like, oh, that one, Nacrack came through for us there. Just like the roll of the dice, you know? And sure enough, Slash is enough to finish off that Galvantula. And it's down 1-on-1. Nacrack and Zebstrika. Things are getting serious. My health is still way too low. I gotta put in another Hyper Potion. It's only 2 though. Not getting too cheap yet. And besides, Elesa would have used a second one if I hadn't had that embargo up. So I'm playing the advantage now. And it's down to 1-on-1. And I think the only move that she can do to damage my Nacrack with is Double Kick. Because she uses it twice in a row, despite the fact that my Nacrack has Rough Skin as its ability. Which is just dumb. Because she's doing about as much damage to her as she is to me, because that fighting type shot is not doing a whole lot to my Nacrack. But it all comes down to this. One last dig. If I don't follow through on this one, she's going to throw down another Hyper Potion, and we're going to go through the whole harangue again. So if she heals up, or if anything else comes into play here, that's it. And we got her. That dig is just enough damage. And so, sure enough, with 37 health left on our last Pokemon after 2 Hyper Potions used, we defeat Elesa. And I'm just like, sweet! Yes! Awesome! It took me I did 10 fights, and I could not beat her. But then I added Nidoqueen and Nidoking to the party. First try, we come out with a victory. And that gives us the Bolt Badge. We got it done. See you guys next time.